Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Langston University and the 2014 commencement. The commencement at Langston University is a solemn, sacred, and dignified occasion. Therefore, at this time, I ask that all cell phones and other electronic devices be turned off, and the decorum commensurate with any formal event become the order of the day. We now will begin. Faculty, faculty, and professional staff. Graduate programs, and the marshals are Dr. Amelia Dr. Alex Lewis. senior class marshal, Miss Bonnie Ware Wallace and Mr. James A. Wallace. Coming in vice president, Dr. Marvin Burns, Dean, School of Agriculture and Applied Science. The flag bearer, Miss Miranda Tracy.
and gentlemen, on behalf of the Board of Regents for the Oklahoma Agricultural and Mechanical Colleges, the University Administration, faculty, students, and graduates, I welcome you to the 114th commencement exercise at Langston University. We are gathered here this morning to celebrate the achievement of the members of the graduating class of 2014 and offer them best wishes for continued success. Class of 2014, I commend you for your outstanding accomplishments thus far. How about a round of applause for our graduates? At this time, I'm pleased to introduce members of the dais. Beginning to my far left on the back row, please stand as you are called and remain standing. And for the audience, please hold your applause until all are standing. Mr. Bruce Palmore, Student Government Association President, 2013-14. Mr. Miles Kelly, Senior Class President, 2013-14. Mr. Jason Ramsey, Chief Executive Officer for the Board of Regents for the Oklahoma A&M Colleges. And now to my far right on the back row, Regent Jim Reese, Board of Regents for the Oklahoma A&M Colleges. Regent Lou Watkins, Board of Regents for the Oklahoma A&M Colleges. Regent Rick Davis, Vice Chair for the Board of Regents for the Oklahoma A&M Colleges. On the front row to my far left, Senator Constance Johnson, Oklahoma Legislative Black Caucus. Dr. Leon Bragg, Langston University National Alumni Association President-elect. Dr. Clyde Montgomery, Vice President for Academic Affairs. On the front row to my far right, Representative Anastasia Pittman, Chair of the Oklahoma Legislative Black Caucus, and Mr. Roland Martin, our distinguished speaker who will be formally introduced later in the program. How about a round of applause for our dais? Special recognition is due to all of the parents and guardians and family members of our graduating students who are here to witness the pride and joy and another milestone in their sons, daughters, grandsons, or granddaughters' lives. Students and graduates, would you please join me by turning to the audience and give a rousing applause to your family members and friends who are here today. Okay, you may be seated. The quicker you do it, the quicker you can get your diploma. Thank you very much. And now I would like to recognize a very good group of people, special group of people who have joined us to celebrate with our graduates. Student leaders are an integral part of the collegiate experience at any university, but certainly at Langston University. I am pleased now to introduce to you former student body presidents and vice presidents of the Student Government Association, who I had the pleasure of meeting with this morning to talk about charting a new course to involve young alumni in endeavors that the university is participating in. We met this morning, and I'm so encouraged for our future as a result of our meeting. I'd like to introduce the following former student government leaders who are with us today. Mr. James Harris, Vice President, 2001-2002. Please remain standing until all are called. Mr. Joshua Busby, Vice President, 2004-2005, and President, 2005-2006. Mr. Stephen Harris, Vice President, 2005-2006. Actually, Dr. Stephen Harris, 2005-2006. Ms. Latoya Rose Shoemate, Vice President, 2007-2008. Mr. Ricky Giles, President, 2008-2009. Mr. Javon Brain, Vice President 2009-2010 and President 2010-2011. Mr. Anthony Crawford, Mr. Vice President 2010-2011 and President 2011 and 2012. Ms. Talisa Hines, Vice President 2012-2013. Mr. Bruce Palmore, President, Student Body 2013-2014. Mr. Miles Kelly, President 2012-2013. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Damari Myers, Vice President 2013-14, and the newly elected President of the Student Government Association for 2014-2015. Please join me in giving them a round of applause for their service to dear Langston. The greatest measure of any college or university is in its teaching and research, and certainly our faculty. Faculty members, please stand and allow us to recognize you, because you truly are the reason that these graduates have made it to this point today. Would our faculty members please stand, and all of our audience, and certainly our graduates, please allow us to say thank you. All of our faculty members. Thank you very much. At this time, I would also like to recognize the members of the Administrative Council. Would all of you please stand, and certainly this is a team with whom I work with on a daily basis, and I would like them to be recognized for the work they do on behalf of our university on a daily basis. Administrative Council members, please stand. Would all deans and the director of the graduate program please stand and allow us to recognize you. All deans and the director of the graduate program. Graduates, this is one you should be clapping for. Thank you very much for the work that you do on behalf of our university. All elected officials who are in the audience are participating with us today. Would you please stand and allow us to recognize you? Members of the Board of Trustees for the Langston University Oklahoma City campus and Langston University Tulsa campus who are with us today, would you please stand and allow us to recognize you? Thank you very much. Mr. Sherman Lewis, Ms. Bernetta Wilson, and Ms. Bernetta Berry. Thank you very much. All Langston University staff, would you please stand? Certainly, our graduates would not be here. This includes the faculty again, but all Langston University, how about it, Langston University employees? Would you please stand and allow us to say thank you for all that you do for the university? All Langston University employees, thank you very much. Mr. Martin, we're excited to have you, and he's doing some technology. He's actually filming. Mr. Roland Martin, our commencement speaker, he has a new camera that's tied to his hand. So this is the first time he's doing this filming, and we're making he's going to put us on national news for the Langston University commencement. So he said, whatever you do, please don't act up because it'll make national news. He just said that. I'd like to introduce to you the First Lady of Langston University, my wife, Tiffany Hill Smith. And note of personal privilege, I'm excited to have my mother here with us today celebrating Mrs. Elaine Smith, visiting from Louisiana. At this time, we will proceed with the program as printed. Would you please stand now for the singing of the national anthem by the Langston University Concert Choir.
That's why
you very much. You may be seated. And on one more personal note, I would like to thank Ms. Benita Franklin, who has served so capably to dear Langston. She will be retiring from Langston University following the conclusion of this semester. And so, Mrs. Franklin, I would like to say thank you for your service to dear Langston.
Greetings. My name is Bruce Palmore. I served as the 2013-2014 SGA President. And it is my privilege and honor to introduce our commencement speaker. Roland S. Martin is the host and managing editor of TV One's News One Now, the first daily morning news program in history to focus on the news and analysis of politics, entertainment, sports, and culture from an explicitly African-American perspective. Martin is a nationally syndicated columnist with Creators Syndicate and is a senior analyst for the Tom Joyner Morning Show, where his daily segment is heard on more than 100 stations and by 8 million people. Martin has also authored 3 books: Listening to the Spirit Within, 50 Perspectives on Faith; Speak Brother, A Black Man's View of America; and the first, President Barack Obama's Road to the White House, as originally reported by Roland S. Martin. Martin is a life member of the National Association of Black Journalists and a life member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow classmates, please join me in welcoming to the podium none other than Roland S. Martin.
All right then, Langston, how we doing? You all good? All right, all y'all family loud as hell back there. Yelling, screaming, I'm like, sit down. Call security. Certainly glad to be with you, glad to be here. It's always great to have graduation day. And body the fact, we were walking in and, you know, they got their usual walk-in music. It was a little slow. Typically with graduations, they always say these are solemn occasions. I totally disagree. That's a cool Duck Dynasty beard you got. I'm gonna get a photo with you later. Before I start, I love music. So y'all take a pick. Band, I need y'all to play something funky. Or the choir, sing something. So, I mean, I appreciate that classical stuff, but I came to a black college. So I need y'all to make it sound like I came to a black college. So y'all hurry up. Y'all got 60 seconds to have a funk party. So come on, band, play something. Play something. Let's go. We ain't got all day. Hurry up. Let's see what y'all got. Do what you want to do. They can't stop you now. That's what I'm saying. Hey, fellas, why y'all sit down? Wait, get up. Y'all need to move. The song is called Happy. Well, dance you, get up. Hey, family, real good. Come on, stand up. The song is called Happy. That was not hard. See, graduations are supposed to be fun, supposed to be exciting. Now, before I give this speech, Mr. President, step on up for a second. Come on up for a second. Step up. So, real quick, I got about 450,000 social media followers, so we need to do a selfie before I start. So turn around. call that free publicity. To the Board of Regents, to the President, to everyone that's here, I'm certainly glad to be with you. Let me also thank Russell Perry and Kevin Perry. Kevin texted me like a bill collector to get me to come speak. I'm like, who is this texting me? I don't owe anybody from Oklahoma any money. But I'm certainly glad to be with him. I thank them for what they do. I am a huge believer in entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to African Americans, and what Russell Perry and Kevin are doing is absolutely important. It's vital in terms of us owning our own media. The Freedom's Journal, the first black newspaper in 1827, in its lead editorial, they said, "We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us." And so I prefer us in terms of owning our own versus asking somebody, can we please go on to talk about what is important to us. And so again, give it up for Russell Perry and Kevin as well. I do not write speeches. That's a waste of my time. I wrote one time, never read it. I said, well, that was a waste of all that time. And so I was deciding this week what I want to talk about, the graduates, and it was a little rough. Sun a little rough. Somebody need a pair of shades. I got an extra pair of shades. All right, pay me. You can rent my shades. I'm just messing. And so I was sitting here figuring out what I wanted to talk about, and as I was getting ready for dinner last night, I remember the conversation that Terry McMillan and I had, the book author. A couple of years ago, I was going to all these different events, summertime, Essence Music Festival, I'm playing in golf tournaments, I'm doing all this other kind of stuff, and Terry said, how in the world do you do all of this stuff? You are at every party, you don't leave early, they got videos of you dancing all on YouTube. I don't understand where you find the energy. And I told Terry, I said, Terry, is real simple. My motto in life is simply live life, love it. And so as I thought about that, I said, let me augment it just a little bit, because typically when you speak to this many black people, and being in the Bible Belt, you got to name what you talk about. Because y'all don't go home and say, what are you talking about? I don't know, he didn't give a name to his speech, so I don't know what he talked about. So the title, or as I say, I shall tag this text. Some of y'all don't go to church. Ask your church friend next to you, what does that mean? I shall tag this text, live your life, love it. Live your life, love it. If you are really honest with yourself, there are some people who are sitting in the stands today who really didn't like your decision on where you chose to go to school. Some of y'all don't want to say anything because they're looking at you right now. But if you're also honest, there are some people here who are celebrating you today who did not like the major you chose. And I say that because we go through life where our parents and our grandparents, they want things that in many ways is an extension of their life. And the problem with that is you have individuals today who are grown, folks who have gone to their grave, and they never did what they wanted to do. They always did something to please somebody else. See, the problem with that is they had their chance. But it's not about their chance. You see this in sports. You see a father who he always wanted to play ball, college or pro ball, and so the baby come out of the womb and already they are conditioning them to be a pro athlete. They don't ask themselves, what is the passion of my son? What is the passion of my daughter? No, they want to push them into a different place, as opposed to say, how is my child bent? What is the direction in which God is pointing them in? I remember when I was, it was probably 2 weeks from graduation, and my dad was perfectly fine with college I went to. My dad was cool with the major. I mean, I went to a communications high school in Houston, Jack Yates High School. And my dad asked me, he said, do you really want to do this? Because he was thinking about how much journalists make coming out of college. We were in the car and I said, really? You asking me that question today? I said, Dad, I went to communication high school 4 years. I graduated in 4 years. I think after 8 years, you should be clear, this is probably what I want to do. I said, and by the way, growing up, why we watch all those damn news shows? My daddy watched 5 hours of news a day, read 2 newspapers. I said, man, one of your kids were gonna go into journalism. We never watched the end of any show. We had to turn to the news 15 minutes early so he can make sure we watch the news. I said, surely one of your kids were gonna do this. Fast forward today, my parents live in my house in Dallas, they retired. My dad goes, man, you making a whole lot of money. I said, see, I tried to tell you then. See, I used to catch lots of whippings for talking in school. I would finish my school early, and I gave a speech one time, and I told my dad, I said, you know, you really should apologize to me for all those whippings I got. I said, because that was actually practice for what I do now. I was talking then, I talk now. So I grew up, my dad told me stop talking in class, and I didn't realize how much I get paid. He went, look, don't stop talking. I need you to keep talking. But I said that to him because I needed him to understand that this is exactly what it is that I wanted to do. There's nothing else I ever wanted to do but exactly what I'm doing right now in terms of television and newspaper and magazine and online syndicated column. I always wanted to do this. And the struggle that too many people have is they're living their life for somebody else and they're walking around miserable. They're walking around upset. They're walking around frustrated because they're trying to please somebody else. But what you should really be saying is, I have to live my life the best way I can in order for me to find the level of happiness to get through life. But what I'm saying today is not just for the graduates. It could be very well for one of the faculty members. It could be very well for somebody sitting on the dais. It could be for somebody sitting in the stands, because you might be saying, I'm 35, I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm 60. And what I'm trying to tell you is, there is never a moment when you cannot switch paths and decide to go in a different direction to have a level of happiness. Because there's nothing worse than waking up every day mad about the job you're going to. There's nothing worse than waking up, looking over like, why am I married to her? Oh yeah, I'm bowling down y'all alley sitting in your pew now. Some of y'all are saying, how is he still here? And it's because we made decisions to please somebody else. As graduates, you have an opportunity, you have a fresh start. You're about to walk out and step out into this world, and you can create the kind of life it is that you wanted to live. And do understand that how you grew up does not have an impact on how your life is going to end up. Because see, do understand, I recall standing on the porch of my house and watching the DA and the FBI and the Houston Police Department take down a crack house. But what I understand is that crack never could enter my house because my daddy said, not in this house. I understand there's certain friends that we have, we grew up with, they might be friends in college, but they're not necessarily the folks who you want to walk in life with, because they're not the folks who really need to be in your life. And so what you should be thinking about today is, where am I trying to go? How is God positioning me? And what is the kind of life I really want to live in order to experience happiness and joy? Now when Terry asked me, she said, why are you always dancing? I said, Terry, my legs work. Now I know somebody might be saying, well, I got that, but do understand, when Muhammad Ali was the world heavyweight champion of the world, they called him the Louisville Lip. They said, I wish Muhammad Ali would just shut up and stop talking. All he does is talk, talk, talk. What would we pay today to hear Muhammad Ali talk? We know him through the newsreels and all the things that he said over the course of his life, but Parkinson's disease has taken his voice away, and we wish we could hear his voice. I told her, I said, Terry, the reason I dance because I don't believe in having a life of regrets. Some of you have listened to the stories of your grandmother and grandfather, your parents, and they've said, I regret I didn't do this. I regret I didn't do that. I regret I didn't travel. I regret I did not follow my passion and my dreams. The smartest thing for you as a graduate to decide today is you are not going to have a life of regrets. One of the things that I said is, I don't care what happens in the future. If something happens and I can't walk, I can't talk, there's a whole lot of video I can look at saying, I used to get it in and drop it like it's hot. Because I simply refuse to go through life regretting not doing certain things. And too many of us live that way. And it's sad to watch our elders sit there and say how they have so many regrets when they have the opportunity to do it, but they were afraid. Which leads me to my next point when I talk about live your life. Just because your mother and your father did not go to the next level in their life does not mean that you have to do the exact same thing. See, I think my dad introduced me at his church. I was speaking to the men there, and my dad said, the one thing I appreciate about my son is that when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. But one of the reasons I said that is because I watched my parents be presented with an opportunity, but then get afraid to step over that line. Many of us say we have faith in God, but we don't have enough faith to step out on faith. A lot of us say that we have the courage to do what's right and to say what's right, but when the time comes for you to speak up and say something, then all of a sudden you grow quiet because you get concerned about what this might do to my job or how it might affect it. Do understand that I did the Monique show, and she told me, she said, Roland, you say stuff. This is when I was with CNN for 6 years. She said, you say stuff on CNN, I'm scared because you might get fired. I said, Monique, I want to help you out with something, baby. I start every job with the premise, I'm getting fired anyway. Because there's nothing worse than you do the right thing, say the right thing, get to work early, late, don't cuss your boss out, do all the right stuff, then you get fired, then you get home mad. Like, man, what? I did everything right. Y'all fired me, I'm like, hey, I'm cool. I said everything I want to say while I was there. I had some colleagues of mine, they said, Roland, aren't you afraid to challenge our boss when it comes to diversity and the hiring of black talent? I said, no. Because if I don't say something, who will? I said, plus, I got 4 other checks. They just got 1 of the checks. Don't skip that. One of the things that I've always refused to allow somebody to do is to control my destiny based upon a paycheck. That is a critical lesson that you must have move forward in life, because when somebody knows they can control you, then they can dictate where you go and what you say and what you do. So as you step out of here, you should be thinking a life of multiple revenue streams. So in one end, you say, appreciate it, I'm going to go right back over here. There is nothing more important for anybody graduating this year but to live your life to the fullest and love it. Where you appreciate everything about life, where you appreciate the blessings that you have, and you also appreciate the fact that you don't have to do everything right now that's all about your dream. It requires time. People ask me, well, man, what was your one big break? There was no one big break. It was one after another after another. It was a career and life that I built, and I haven't stopped. When we go through life and we're dissatisfied, and we're constantly complaining, what we're actually doing is we're saying, God, you blessed me, but this really not enough. I need more. I had a preacher who told me, what do I need to do to have a mega church? I said, well, why do you assume God designed for you to have a mega church? Maybe he positioned you to have a 500-member church. What that means is, wherever you are positioned, you can do great just where you are in that job, in that organization. It's not always about something that is bigger that you can't touch, which means stop trying to live somebody else's life, somebody else's destiny, somebody else's vision. You have to live the life that God has ordained for you and to appreciate that as you are doing. And here's the last thing that is critically important for you moving forward. Have fun doing it. There's nothing worse than seeing somebody with a scowl on their face and you're like, baby, smile, this ain't a jail photo, it's a photo. How boring is it to go through life and you're not having fun, you're not enjoying it, you're not enjoying simply being present, simply saying, I'm just going to appreciate where I am and take advantage of this moment. That's why I asked the band to play. This is not a solemn occasion, this is a happy occasion. A lot of y'all had no idea y'all would have made it to this day. It's a professor sitting here saying right now, I don't know how they got a cap and gown on. There's some people in the stands saying, I got to tie down. But what it means is for us to embrace the joy and happiness in life. So when you wake up every single day, what you should do is not sigh, not say how rough it is, but do the exact same thing I do. And I get up and I say, Lord, my legs work, my eyes work, my arms work, I'm breathing. All right, we started off good. We were coming in, we were talking back there, and somebody said, man, he really enjoying the graduation. I said, yes, because I'm breathing, I'm good. I don't take it for granted. This is the 10th commencement speech I've given because somebody didn't have to call me. So no matter what happens in your life, no matter what you face, no matter what adversity, do understand that for every day you awake is an opportunity to enjoy the moment. And when somebody comes across your path and they bring that negative attitude, they bring all of that bad karma, say, baby, I need you to move on because I can't have all of that around me. And that person might be a family member, because I've told some family members, do me a favor. I'm coming over to my grandmother's house. Let me know when y'all leaving because I can't deal with your negativity and all that drama. When you have a life full of joy, when you have a life full of happiness, when you have a life where you are living the kind of life you want to live, then all you can do is say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And when you have the ability to say thank you, you actually mean it. Which is also why for you as graduates, you are leaving this campus, but the one thing that I expect of you is to be sure that you don't forget where you came from, which means you be sure to pave the way for the next group of Langston graduates. Because saying thank you also means giving back. Saying thank you means writing a check. Because if somebody had not written a check, you would not be sitting in this stadium today. So what we cannot do is fail to support the next generation. So I'm going to close this way and I want y'all to stand up. Don't look at me. I want y'all, the front group, face the back group. And what I want, turn around, don't look at me. Y'all in the front, we'll turn around. You four right there, turn around. Turn around. How y'all graduate? Y'all can't follow the picture. I want you to look at your classmates. Hey, y'all in the back, look forward. Y'all in the back, it's on the track. Ooh, I don't know how some of y'all gonna get a degree. Y'all need to double check. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at each other and I want you to promise, I am going to live a life of happiness. I'm going to live a life filled with joy. I'm not going to complain about the struggle, because I know when the storm is over, there's sunshine. I will maintain my faith. I will maintain my trust.